In this second example on how to find text and replace it with a hyperlink text in Google Apps Scripts using the DocumentApp class, we are going to find the text and replace it with a single link within a paragraph containing other text. So have a look at the example here. So I've got a bunch of text here that I don't want to replace, and then I've got my reference item here that I want to replace. Then on the other side I have some more text. So if I use the previous example to do this, what I would actually do would be replace all the text in this element, because this is one entire text element, and then replace it with my URL with the link attached to it, which is not what we want. So how do we work around this? Let's head over to the Google Apps Script editor, and we'll start off by creating our function, and we'll call it single link within paragraph. And hit enter. Cool. And first up, we'll add in our inputs. And if you're playing along from the previous tutorial, you can copy and paste these in. But if you're just coming in now, you can grab these. While I mention it, there's a link in the description below that has a greater tutorial on this, and also a link to the Google Doc if you want to play along. Okay, back to it. So the input here, and let's go const, and we'll make this text equals my URL. And then the next one is going to be const. We want the URL equals and https://yagi-san@today.com for our shameless plug. And then we'll say let const, this is not going to change, text to find equals, and we want that to be this single link in a paragraph. So let's go over to the text here and select it. If I can get to it, select it, hit Control-C to copy, and open up my inverted commas and hit Control-Shift-V to paste it in, so we know we don't make a mistake. And let's close off these inputs so it looks pretty. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is grab the body from the DocumentApp class using the getActiveDocument, or you can use the OpenByID and the getBody method. So we've got body const body equals DocumentApp, and we will just use getActiveDocument method, and then we'll just get body. Cool. So this will grab all the body information for this document. Great. We can't chain as easily as we did in the first example. What we need to do is extract a few different pieces from the text that we find first. So the first thing we need to do is find the text. So let's call this constant find text. Well, found text, because it would be found, right? Past tense. There we go. And we'll go body dot find text, just like we did the first time. And inside that, we will put in our text to find. Okay, so there it is. So body find text, text to find. It looks like it's running. That errors there. Good. Okay, so once we've got our found text, we can grab a couple of things from it. So what we'll need to do in the future is find the start point within this text element, or where we want to add our link. So to do that, we need to find our start text. So we'll say const start text equals, and we'll say found text. Found text, which is our variable just up here. And we can use one of the DocumentApp methods here and get start offset, which is how many points or how many characters it is into this text item. So get start offset and that will retrieve the start here. So it's going to be this first curly brace on the left-hand side here. To find the end of the text, you might be inclined to do something like this. Const end text equals found text. And then maybe use something like get end of offset inclusive. But that is going to get the end of this text to find text here. So all the way up to the end here. But what we actually want is just up to the end of here, of our actual text we're going to input. So let's get rid of that. We don't need that. And how we're going to work this out is by adding the start text. And we'll add that to the text. We're going to add in its length. So the text dot length. Okay, so if I just left it as is, that will start here and then count where we've got my URL. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it'll count 7 across because it'll actually start counting from the Y because our start text starts at the Y. So what we need to do at the end is -1. So when we grab our link, it's going to be between my and URL only. Cool. All right, so now that we've got this start and end text, we can grab the element of the found text. So we'll say const element equals found text dot get element. So our final task is just like we did in the first example. We need to get the element as text. So I'm going to say element as text. So now we can apply rich text formatting to it. And we'll hit return. We'll chain this up. And then we want to replace the text this time. So last time we set the text, this time we want to replace the text. So you can use replace in the entire body to search for something, but the beauty of it doing it this way is that it only searches within this element here, which is a text element, rather than the entire body, which will save time in processing. So we will go replace text and open up the brackets. And then we want to add in our text defined. And then the replacement text, which is text. And I'll hit enter. And lastly, we want to set our link URL. So set link URL. And like in example 1, where we just added the URL here, we want to add our offsets to it as well. So it doesn't link the entire text here, starting from this is a link all the way over to the it full stop. We just want the start point to the end point to be linked. So we will add in our start text, which is our first start offset, and then our end offset is our end text that we created on line 13. Then we add in our URL and hit enter. And if I haven't made any mistakes, that should be running. So hit save and just have a look over on the Google Doc when I run it. And you can see that the link has changed to my URL. And there's our link. Okay, so if you want to get some more details on this portion of the tutorial or all 3 of the examples, you can check out the link in the description below for the expanded tutorial, and you can also get access to the Google Doc if you want to play along. In the next tutorial, we are going to look at how to find text and replace it with a list of links. I'll see you there.